Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, I can. Yep.
Guys, thanks everybody for joining.
Of course, man.
All right. We give about a minute or two for everybody to join.
Okay.
I was just on the call with another company, so I just joined. So
I think Civic should be on pretty soon too. So.
Okay, cool.
Hi, can I be heard?
Who's this? You are. Let me see here. Let me look at the chat. Let me take the chat away. Yeah, I mean, hey, whoever just said hi, can I be heard? We can hear you.
How do I mute myself? This is Gonu.
Oh, Gonu. Okay, I'll mute you guys. I'll mute everybody later.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. What's going on, Yuli?
What's going on, Civic? Back at it again.
Go on, Civic.
Hey, what's going on, my man? You got hurt or something too?
Me, just carpal tunnel, dude. Too much computer. I just try to not move my wrist too much, you know.
What's up, too?
Hey, man.
And I think we got Lou, and then the rest is just people who dialed in. So I don't really have anybody else on here. So I'll go ahead and mute everybody except for our guest speaker. So if you guys have anything to say, just put in the chat. And then once we get down to the end, we can go ahead and unmute you guys or so. All right?
Yep.
Okay, so that should do it. So, hi guys. Can you guys hear me? Shynna, can you hear? Okay, great.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Your name is kind of hard for me to pronounce for some reason. It's like, say your name.
My name is Shynna.
Yes, Shynna. Okay,
yeah,
so
it's kind of like China, but Shynna.
Kind of China. Shynna.
Yeah.
Oh, it keeps missing. Every time I look at it and go, how do you say that? So, Shynna. So, okay, guys. So, welcome to HmongREI's, question and answers. Shynna is our guest speaker today, and she's just gonna answer us newbie questions. So, we got a few HmongREI staff, I guess we can say, and we got investors on the call. So I mean, we can tap into you guys, but she's going to ask some questions. We're hoping just to answer what we have, what knowledge we have. I mean, there's a little disclaimer: we don't, we're not. Some of us aren't professionals. We're just kind of going by what we have done. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I want to thank you guys for just being interested. Thanks for joining, and we're here to help each other out. So. She's reached out to us and say, hey, she's got some newbie questions, and I figured it was a good idea to have her on the call, and then she can ask, and hopefully answers other people's questions and answers their questions, as well. Okay, so let me see. I'm going to unmute Yuli, and then I'm going to unmute Civic. So just a bit about me, and then we'll talk to Yuli and Civic about what they've done, so you guys have a little history about us. I currently own 20 properties, 10 properties in Florida and 10 single family properties in Florida. And then I have an 8-unit in Milwaukee. And then recently I just acquired a duplex. So that's 20. It's 21 if you count my house. So so that's where I'm at. I'm a buy and hold guy, so I usually just buy and then rent out. So that's all about me. I started back in about 7 years ago, and this is where I'm at today. So, Civic, you want to jump in?
Sure. Hey, Shynna, how's it going?
Hi, doing good.
Yeah, I'm Civic here. I'm a realtor, investor. If you guys don't know, been in real estate pretty much all my life, pretty much. So I got right now about 8 properties. I buy and hold, I flips, a little bit of both, wholesale whenever I can, I'm also a licensed contractor, so I do a lot of the work, myself or my team does it too. Yeah, that's about it, so glad to have everybody here.
Cool. Thanks, David. And then Yuli.
Hi, Shynna.
Hi.
Glad to have you on here, and looking to certainly give out some information to kind of help each other out. I'm a licensed realtor. I just recently got my license as well. And as you may know, we work with Civic over here, and I have just one property right now. I was like in your shoes here not too long ago. I was a newbie as well, and just kind of like taking on the role, and just having guys like Chai and Civic, and then everyone else on the HmongREI Real Estate Investors Group, just kind of helping me through the process, which is a great thing. So I think we should be able to help you out, with all your questions that you do have. But anything that you want to ask, just feel free to ask away, and we'll certainly try to give you the best answers as we can.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for having me too.
All right, so I want to go ahead and mute you. So Shynna, we start out usually, we're a Hmong group, so we want to ask you, what is your Hmong name?
So my Hmong name is Cool.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah,
cool,
that's my Hmong name. And
K-U-E?
then Khou.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
then my middle name is Shynna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last name was, what was your last name?
I am Hmong, but my husband is Hmong, so
okay.
I guess I'm Hmong
Okay.
now. But
You're no man. Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So I'm from Milwaukee. I'm married. I have 2 kids. I'm a student at Alverno College. I graduate in December with my bachelor's in business and management. And I would say first off, buhay lumong si Chomeng na. So and next time I'll try to speak more Hmong to you guys. But just bear with me. And did you want to get like a little background on how I got into real estate too?
Whatever you want to share, just a little bit about yourself. I mean, you can stop there if you want and just hit up to the questions, or
Oh, okay.
It depends.
So how I got into real estate was I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and that was just this year. And so it kind of like opened my eyes and like grabbed my interest that, this is something that I can do for myself. And with like my business background and my internship experience, like it all just like came together, like, maybe this is my calling. And so so I started researching more about real estate, and then I follow top entrepreneurs, that are in real estate, and then it just made me like more excited. Like if I become successful in this, then you know, it could be life changing, and you know, just gives me that financial freedom that I want, or that lifestyle that I want. So I'm just excited that I get to ask you guys questions, and just want to thank you guys for having me on this webinar with you guys.
Appreciate it. Well, we're thanking you because you're, you know, you're probably here going to help more people than we have, you know, because you're asking all the newbies, because we've been, because for us, like these questions, I mean, we don't think of it, but for a newbie, you know, you have these questions that, you know, we already know, and we just kind of skim through it. But, you know, you might be helping other newbies, so we thank you for asking these for us. Okay, so go ahead.
Okay. So, like, I know I've been doing, like, a lot of research and, you know, just trying to learn more about it, but how, like, what would you guys recommend for, you know, a student, someone who doesn't have, like, assets or collateral to actually, like, get into investing in properties?
So I want to go ahead and unmute us guys. Hey, join.
Hey.
All right.
Yeah, I got some stuff done early, so I'm able to. I like
okay, so for those, so those of you, yes, also part of the HmongREI group. So yeah, we already went and talked a little about us three here. So if you want, just a little bit about yourself, and then we can go back to her question.
Okay. Hey guys, sorry.
Your background. Just your background.
Hi.
All right. So my background, real quick. I'm in the restaurant business, so I've been managing for like over 10 years as a GM. I always wanted to do real estate, but never really actually did anything, you know. I did a lot of research, a lot of reading, a lot of just know all the strategies and stuff, but never done anything until 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, when I met up with Stephen at HmongREI Results. And you know, what's funny was that, you know, every time I talk to an investor or a realtor, right, they would say, oh, you know, I do investments for the past 8 years. I have one rental property, you know, so that's, and I was like, well, do you do wholesaling? Like, what is that? You know, right. So, that, you know, I couldn't get anywhere. So when I met up with Steven, we were able to talk the same language. And actually, right after that, I signed up for my realtor class. And since then, the first year I didn't do much, but this year alone, starting in March, you know, I got a total of 6 units under my belt, just within a short time frame. And, you know, I've done a flip with Steven, did a few wholesales before, and so here I am. I'm still learning as well too, but we're pretty much in the same boat learning together. So that's pretty much about me.
Awesome. So, sorry, can you repeat your question again?
Okay, so my question is that, so, you know, I'm a student, so I don't have much, like, assets or collateral to my name. So, like, what would you guys recommend for me since I want to start into invest in, like, properties? Like, how can I even start that when I don't have, like, assets or collateral and all that, if I try to take out, like, loans or whatever?
So, any guys want to jump in? So I'll take it from the beginning. So, you know, when I talk to you, any newbies, I mean, I usually just say, you know, start by investing in yourself first. You know, what I mean by that is, you know, learn what you want to learn, right? So when I first got started, you know, I was hitting up like the books, like, you know, you mentioned the Rich Dad, you know, books. So I actually went and read majority of all Rich Dad stuff, you know, because I thought there was real estate stuff in there. There were some of them in there, but there wasn't much. Then I went ahead and hit up YouTube, and that's when I found the real estate guys, radio show. I don't know if you know anything about those guys.
No, I don't.
And they had, they're actually the guys that Robert Kiyosaki endorsed for real estate. So and at that time they had a podcast. So they had all these podcasts of, just full information about real estate, right? So I mean, I was downloading all their podcasts and just listening to them, and then that's when I found Bigger Pockets, right? So like for you as a student, when you start out, I usually say, invest in yourself first, learn as much as you can, and then the next thing is find a mentor, right? So a mentor will probably take you to the next level, right? So, and don't really worry about the money. Real estate it does take some money, but if you find the right deal, you can pull money from, places easily. So, I'll keep it short. Any of the guys here want to join in?
Yeah, I want to add a few things. So, yes, you definitely have to always invest in yourself. The other thing that I would recommend right now is work on your credit. Okay, make sure you have the solid credit, because then, depending on what your end goal is. Let's say if you want to become like a buy and hold investor, or like someone like a landlord, for example, you will want to be able to refinance after you purchase the property, right? So right now it's a good time to build your credit, okay, and never late on any payments or anything like that, ever. And then if you want to do something right now where you can actually make some money, I'll say, read up about wholesaling. Okay, and like Shai said, there's a lot of resources. Bigger Pockets, it's one of the big ones. Understand how wholesaling works. I may be biased a little bit, but I would say become a realtor. Save that $1,000. The reason for that is because when it comes to writing contracts, okay, you will need to understand how the contracts work. Okay, on top of that, you need to understand how the market is. Okay, so that's how you're gonna get ahead as a young realtor. You're gonna understand and at the same time too. Let's say you sell like a house or two a month, right? That's already like $6-7 grand right there. So yeah.
So I know you talked about like the market. Like, how often do you think that changes?
Well, it would depend. I mean, it really depends on the supply and demand of the market. As right now in the Twin Cities, it's rising. It's increasing. It's a seller's market, but winter it kind of plateaued a little bit, or it kind of slowed down a little bit. So it depends. The cycle is usually about 10 years. So you'll have like there's like a bubble, and then it's gonna crash. So I'll say within the next few years here, it's probably gonna come down again in Minnesota. So.
So do you guys ever recommend like taking out lines of credit and stuff, especially since like I'm gonna have to pay like school loans soon? Like, what do you guys think about that?
Lines of credit, I mean, I do that all the time. I do that with my credit card, right? Like my last purchase, which is like 2 weeks ago.
Hey, congratulations, by the way, man.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I pulled that off for credit card just so, I can get it. I mean, be careful, all that stuff. Make sure your numbers work, But I use my credit card to purchase it. And I also use it to buy my 8 unit because I didn't have all that money during that time. So I use that to buy my 8 unit also as well. And, you can always apply for line of credit too. So for me, I have businesses, I have LLCs that they send me these letters all the time. They always ask, would you like to apply for a line of credit? Go ahead and do it. That's, additional funding that you might need only if you find a good deal, use those. So I'll stop it here. Any of the guys want to join in?
Yeah, let me touch on that a little bit. So there's a caveat to that too, okay? Again, you want to make sure that you don't really destroy your credit because, again, the lender is going to look for your debt to income ratio. And, you know, but now if you're not buying or holding right now, yes, it's a good time to do that where you actually build your credit. You know, so let's say within the next 5 years you're planning to start buying, then yes. And Chai has a good point too, so.
Okay, thank you.
The other day, I think Fong Cha mentioned, which I thought was a great idea. He mentioned if your car is paid off, you can also use that, right? You can also pull money out of your car, right? Which is kind of like when I bought my first two single family, they actually asked that if I can go ahead if I like to pull money from my car because they're all paid off, and they're like, you know, you can do that. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. So that you can also use that as a resource. So Fong Cha mentioned that the other day, and I totally forgot it. That was a good idea. All right, so next question.
Okay, so next question. Sorry, let me look on my list. So, how do you guys know if a deal is a good deal? Like, do you guys look for ROIs, or like what type of financials do you guys look at for this?
I hear somebody speaking. Let's see here. Is there anybody? Let me hit. Civic, are you in here? Is that you speaking? Let's see Civic on here. All right, so when you talk about, clarify that question again.
So how do you, like, when you look at a property, how do you know if that's a good deal? Like, do you look at specific financials? Do you look at the ROI? Do you look at the location?
So I'll start on this because I look at deals all the time, right? So when I talk about bigger pockets, you know, I'm like I signed up for one of the pro stuff. Like you're like their pro member. So and what it is they have like a calculator on there, and you can throw up your numbers on there, and you can kind of just estimate, you know, and it'll tell you, you know, your profit or so. Let me see if I can do this. She'll kind of show it to you guys here. Yeah, you got anything? Let me pull this up, and then I'll show everybody on the screen. And yeah, you got anything you want to add? You can go ahead and I'll pull this on my screen.
Yeah. So now, before you can determine if it's a good deal or a bad deal, you have to understand, or you have to know exactly what your exit strategy is. And I'm sure, you know, for some of you who don't know what exit strategy means, is that what is it that you want to do with a certain property, right? So if you're going there, you know, I'm going to fix and flip, that's your exit strategy. I'm going to go in there and buy and hold, that's your exit strategy. So for fix and flip, there's a certain formula that you go by. So let's say if you do, you know, like a 70% rule, okay, and you guys could definitely search that up. 70% rule doesn't meet that criteria, okay? If it does, then go for it. If you get it at that price, again, always stick to your numbers. And then as far as if you're a buy and hold like I am, then you will want to say, okay, you know, will this cash flow me at a certain amount of dollars per month, okay? So you kind of have to calculate that into it. But what I typically use is I use a 70% rule for both my flips and for both my rentals. So this way, you know, even if I'm a little bit more lenient on rentals when it comes to like the repairs, the scope of work and stuff like that. So, but when you're flipping, you have to stick with your numbers and always go at the lowest number as possible that you can. So that's how you would determine if it's a good deal or not. Know the market. Does the numbers work using the 70% rule? And if it does, then make the offer.
Okay.
Good point. Yeah.
Thanks. Civic, anything?
You can always do comps on the market too. I mean, once you're up to date on the market and know the market, you're gonna see what's a good deal or not. You know, if everything's selling for 100,000 and something pop up for like 60,000, or you get it for 60,000. You know, 60% rule, 70% rule. You know, that's a good deal too. You know, you want rental is a little bit different. You know, your return on investment. You know, like Jai's property here. You know, he purchased it at 32,000. You know, HmongREI is about 80, 90,000 in the area. You know, he could get about 1,300, 1,400 in rent. So right there, that one is cash flowing right away already. So, you know, of course, the cheaper the property, and how much you could rent it for, you could always determine your cash flow there too.
Okay.
So, I'm back. Can you guys see what's on the screen?
Yeah, we can see that.
Yeah, we can see that.
Oh, yeah. So this is like, Bigger Pockets. I don't know if you guys know the Bigger Pockets calculator here. So you can go on there. I think you pay for the membership pro, and they give you a calculator here. So, I look at deals all the time. Like this is like 13 days ago. This is the one I just bought, So it's like, for instance, we go here, right? So this is like a 12-unit, brick unit apartment building. So we're looking at a purchase price here. You input all this number here, and it does this calculation for you, and you're kind of looking at my, this is what I look at is my monthly cash flow. So if I put in, where was it? My down payment of 81,000 right here, right? And if I put in, and it's going to do all the expense over here, these are all the expenses that you put in as well. So I kind of estimating, well, you can get this when you look at deals, they give you their expense and stuff for, these deals. So you can you basically just input them in, and then you can kind of figure out what your monthly cash flow is going to be and what your cash on cash is going to be, right? So this deal is going to create 2,000. So if I'm able to come up with 81,000, I can kind of see that, oh yeah, I'm going to make $2,000 per month on this deal. So this is how I look at deals every day when they come up. I mean, first thing I look at is the picture. Is it look something that I might like, and then I start throwing numbers in, and that's how I look at deals. I'm all about numbers.
That's a tough area, though.
Yeah.
No, but tougher area.
We're gonna pass it. We're gonna pass on this one, right? But look at the numbers, man. I mean, $2,000.
Yeah.
Come on.
So, Shynna, I just want to just make sure that you're clear on some of these terms the guys are using here. If you are not clear on any of these terms, just please ask.
Okay.
So go ahead, guys.
Should we go to the next question?
Sure.
So since we're talking about rentals, what would you say are like the basic things that you guys fix when you first purchase it, and then like after each tenant? Does that make sense?
Just normal wear and tear on the place.
Okay.
Like your paint. It just depends on what you put on lease. Some landlord put on the lease that the tenant had to paint their house once they leave, or wash our carpet and stuff, so, but those are normal wear and tear. I don't make none of my tenant paint the house. I'll come in, repaint all those. So anything else is an expense, and you can charge them for that.
Okay.
Yeah, same goes for me. Like when they move out or they move in, painting and cleaning is pretty much my biggest thing. It's like it's just one of those things. I mean, I find it kind of hard, like appliances, to go out and stuff like that. But for me, it's just painting and then cleaning, mostly cleaning.
Mm-hmm. So how do you guys find like great contractors in the area? Because I know that's hard to do.
Well, Civic.
Yep. If you're from Milwaukee, call Civic.
No, you just gotta talk to everybody, because contractors, they're always coming in and out. When they're busy, they don't have time for you. When they're not busy, they want a job. They're begging you and stuff. So yeah, just network pretty much. There's no one good contractor out there. That's find out the hard way.
So if I see like contractors doing work on a house, like is it wrong for me to go up to them and like ask them if they would like more work, or like?
Yeah, that's one good ways to go about it. I mean, you can always ask for referrals. If your cousin who know a contractor personally, that's their name they're putting out there. So that's a good way of connecting to other contractors also.
Okay.
One thing I would suggest, and I learned this the hard way, is that understand the scope of work, or understand how much it will cost to fix a certain thing. So, for example, let's say you want to paint the whole house, right? Or you need to replace the toilet and stuff like that. I would say learn how to do all those first, okay? And then once you have enough knowledge where you can tell, like, okay, changing the toilet cost me took me about an hour, cost me this much, okay? As far as materials, then you can calculate all that into what you would pay a contractor, because then again for my lesson was that I like, I trust you, go ahead and do the work and I'll pay you, right? So if that happened, when I went in, the work was just horrible after the tenants left, and I just have to redo the work again. So if you're starting out new, I'll say get your hands dirty, understand how the works, what's required, and then start hiring it out as you understand how things work, and then you become the project manager. Okay, that makes things easier.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good thing my husband's handy in this area.
Free labor.
That helps. That helps a lot.
Which my wife will, Sandy.
Hey, my wife's pregnant. She's painting, man.
Man,
I can paint, but
dude.
I mean, changing toilets and all that. I don't know.
Yeah, she's been working hard.
So you were talking about like one of the mistakes you did. What are some of the other mistakes that you guys did that you guys learned from in this business?
Mistakes are, mistakes. You try to prevent mistakes from the beginning, right? So, like what I do is I talk about the real estate guys, right? Every year, or sometimes they do this often. Real estate guys, they'll bring in, or they'll talk about like mistakes that investors have done. So they'll do a podcast and you can listen to what they've done, and there's problems that these people, investors have, accrual and stuff like that. Bigger Pockets does that too. So I love those, right? So I listen to those, look them up. You can also Google Bigger Pockets and on problems, and they have that stuff written down too. So usually you try to prevent them from the beginning. So with real estate, watch out for those before you actually get into it. But if there's mistakes, you just kind of deal with it. I'll stop there and see what any of the guys can join in on this.
I think, mistakes are bound to happen. In the real estate world, nothing's going to be perfect. But what you want to do is minimize the mistakes as much as possible. So that's certainly what you want to do. Is nothing's perfect, and especially in the real estate world, things are ever changing. The key is just to minimize it as much as possible.
Okay.
I'll say one of my maybe a few of the mistakes that are the most costly were, one was the contractors. Two is when you're new, okay, and when you see all these deals coming in, don't be like me and everybody else where you want to take on every single deal there is, okay? Again, you want to stick to your numbers. That is very important. Okay, if I had to do it all over again, I would probably not bought half of the properties I bought. Okay, but again, stick to your numbers and don't bite off more than you can chew.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So talking about a power team, what's expected in a power team? You're gonna need your contractors. You're gonna need if you're not a realtor, you would need your realtors. What else? Who else should I add onto this power team?
You can add me.
I say, I mean
You add Chai, Two, and Civic.
We're all here to help you out. Add as many people as you can. I mean, that's that's kind of the reason why I created this group, right? Because the more people. Exactly. I mean, we're all here to help each other out. So the more people, the more resources we can tap into. And that's the purpose of having this group, is we're all here for each other. I see everybody posting where can I get this contract, or how can I get this, somebody help me fix this. And I see you guys sharing it. I mean this is amazing. You guys been sharing your contractors out. So as a newbie, start out by just getting to know everybody. Tell them what you do, and then ask them what they do, and get the business card, and you'll have all these contacts available.
So just the process of purchasing a property, can you kind of explain that whole process, title companies, or who you go through, lenders and stuff like that?
So you're a cash buyer, all you need is a title company, and they will take care of everything else. But if you got a mortgage, you're gonna lend money, the bank usually take care of that, the process and everything. As your inspection, then to your appraisal, and then to the underwriter and stuff. And also, there's a process, and you have to go through for that part.
Yep, and I want to add a touch on your original question was your power team. Well, if you're not a realtor, you need to find a realtor. This way they can find you or they can send you the houses or the properties, whatever the case is, right? If you are a realtor, then you're good. The second one is that you need a loan officer that is investor friendly, that that you can work with, know what their requirements are, and so and has influence on the underwriter. Okay, and then you need a closer that knows how to do different transactions. Okay, starting out. You'll read all this stuff where you need an attorney, this and that. Not yet. We're not at Chai or civics level yet, so we don't need it yet. Mm-hmm. But those are the folks you need, and then yes, you do need. The biggest thing is get a mentor or mm-hmm. Someone that been there, done that, and you'll find that in HmongREI is that we're all there to share what we have experience and. We're willing to help you out. So that's somewhat like a mentorship in a way, but you need someone that can actually handhold you through the whole process. Mm-hmm. One way to do that is don't just go and approach people and say, can you be my mentor? Okay. Don't ever do that just because those guys are busy and they don't have time to mentor everybody, right? Bring something to the table, bring something to offer. Let's say you find a deal, right? And I'm brand new, I have no idea what I'm doing, and you're this great investor. I'm gonna come to you and say, hey, look, I got this deal. I have no idea what I'm doing, but it's a deal. Can we go 50-50? Teach me. They will do that for you. Okay.
So would you always go 50-50 or what's the percentage you would?
Yeah, it's always 50-50 because again, think of it as your tuition cost. When you go to college, right? How much do you pay? Like $50,000-$60,000? Why not split that $15,000 or $20,000 with them while you're making $15,000 and $20,000? And in addition to understanding how everything works. See, that's a lot of the mistakes that I made in the past is that I want to do everything myself and not do that, but not until I actually team up with, a business partner that's been doing it forever. That was when everything just took off because I know what I'm doing then,
So is that kind of like, I don't know if you guys heard JVing or pairing up with investors, other investors?
Yeah, it's called joint venture. JV. Okay. Yeah, it was a joint venture where you partner up with somebody else, a different investor out there.
Okay. So have you guys done any of that? Say, someone who's in a different state than you?
Yeah, I mean, I partnered up with other people, other investor out there before.
What are you looking for that question? Are you saying that is it possible to do that? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, how do you guys see that? Because you're not there at the property every day, so you don't really know what's going on. So are you guys do you guys like to do that?
So I can tell you what, in my situation, right? So I have a duplex and I have an 8-unit, right? I have granted, I bought this by myself. I have a property manager that manages it. Now, if you're looking for a partner to cooperate with you on a deal, let's say me looking for somebody in Milwaukee, right? And we find a deal together, right? So what we can do is we can put our funds together. So we go in 50-50. So let's say, for instance, you're the other partner and I'm in Florida. Well, we can create an LLC, right? And then you own 50% of the LLC and I own 50% of the LLC. But our roles can be different, right? You can be the one who manages it since you live there, right? And I can be the one who does all the numbers, who calls the insurance company and stuff like that. So you can delegate roles like that. Is that something that?
Mhm.
Does that kind of answer your question?
Mhm. Yeah, it does.
You sure? I mean,
yeah, I understand.
Is it too high of a level?
No.
Okay.
No, I get it. Mhm.
Okay. Good. Don't be afraid to ask more questions if we deep dive into that. So.
Yeah. So, just saying, if I find a deal, would any of you guys co-invest with me?
Civic in Milwaukee, yes, you will.
Sure, bring a deal. We could look over it. You know, I'm always down to partner up with people out there.
You know, sorry to interrupt. I wish I was in your position right now, because then, you know, you're starting out young, and you know, if you do find a deal, I would love to work with Civic or Chai, because, well, Chai's in Florida, but you know, he'd still be able to, you know, work with you on that. And the thing is, you know, these guys are the real deal. They're just not about talks. They've been there, done that. They, you know, and so on and so forth. So yes, I highly recommend, if you are in that area. And I apologize to anyone who's in the Milwaukee area that I don't know of, that's pretty big into investing as well. But you know, team up with them, because then that's gonna, it's like you'll skip all the learning curve, you know, and get right to making money fast.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday he'll invest with you too. We'll team up with you too. On the chat, if you're interested.
Shynna, to Ye's point, he is right. You know, that's one of the things is, you know, you team up with somebody and get on the fast track, and you'll certainly learn as you go. And it's going to be a fast-paced environment, but you know, that's one of those ways where you can certainly get funds, you know, easily. You know, you get some investors, you get them going, and you learn as you go. That's certainly what I'm doing, and you know, that's one of the best ways to certainly get into the real estate game. Is you're gonna make mistakes. You know, no one's gonna be perfect. We all started off, you know, as a newbie, and I made a bunch of mistakes, you know, and I'm still making mistakes, and so, you know, we're all just gonna learn at the same time, and you know, we're certainly here to help, and that's one of the things. Just take it and run with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So I know we talked a lot about like residential real estate. Do any of you guys do like commercial, like bigger commercial real estate?
When we talk about commercial, right? So like an apartment unit I got a commercial loan out of that. Is that what you're asking, or you're talking about like commercial buildings?
I would say
or
like commercial, like apartment complex, maybe like 50, 100 units. Like, do you guys ever think of doing something like that?
That's where everybody wants to get to. I mean, I would love to get to that number. I mean, I'm coming up close to 50, but you know, the number is 100, right? That's the one that everybody shoots for first. So yeah, I mean, that's what everybody wants to shoot for. So I don't know. I mean, I think there was a few in the group, but they're obviously not making themselves known in the group that are doing apartment unit deals. So as far as I know, I think there's 2 in the group, but they're kind of silent. So we'll keep them unknown for now.
Okay.
Until they raise their hand and say, hey, I'm a big ball player, you know. So any guys on the call, do you guys know? Or in the chat, anybody know, any Hmong investors that have close to 50 or 100 units?
Not all in one building.
It shouldn't matter. I mean,
but Shynna, are you asking more of like a 50-unit multi-dwelling unit property, or are you asking just like a 50-unit portfolio?
Just like one building.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know of anybody. I just know somebody who has like about 50-unit portfolio, but not in 50-unit property.
Mhm.
Hey guys, to clarify, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
To clarify, well, not to clarify, to piggyback off of Shynna's question a little bit, is that I know Chai, you're talking about commercial. So is it? I had always thought that commercial was. I had never gone big units either. So basically, I had always thought commercial was. So there's commercial residential and also commercial business. At what point does it become a commercial loan for residential? Is there a threshold for like the unit number where it has to qualify for that commercial amount?
Yeah. Just to answer quickly on that, anything above 4.
Oh, okay.
It becomes a commercial loan.
All right.
And I mean, commercial loans are like easy to get. I find it way a lot easier than residential loans. So, like now, I tell everybody to go big, because when you go big, that means you're doing like units that are like 8 or 6, whatever, and then you get those commercial loans. They're a lot easier to get. So, and they're a lot easier to manage too than just buying like 6 single families. So, that's my 2 cents on it.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Shynna.
Okay, so like for a beginner like me, do you guys recommend like starting off just a residential, like just a single property, or going into like a multi-unit building?
I guess it depends on what you can handle. I mean, that's something that I think that you may have to ask yourself. Is that something that you're worth to taking up that challenge on a multi-unit? I mean, it can go both ways. You know what I mean? It just really depends on what you're looking for at the end result.
I'd say no. Don't go into commercial, because you have to have a system in place. Because even if you have like 4 or 5 units and you still don't have a system in place, it's gonna be. It's kind of like if it's a business. You can't be managing as though you're just getting rent and stuff like that. You have to have a system, and that's why I don't recommend just going to commercial, just because understand how the business works, understand the ins and out of it, okay, and have a system put in place. Then you can scale it up, okay, when you do have that. So for someone like you, I'll say start out with a, I personally, I like single families, okay, and in addition to that, I do like multi-families too. Reason for that is because single family, when your tenants are usually better, and when you want to sell it, it's easier to sell, okay, versus multi-units. But the upside to multi-units is that your cash flow is much higher. So like I said, if you're starting out, do like house hack or whatever, right, and go from there. But never start. I wouldn't say, don't start with commercial. Always start with residential until you understand the game first. And a lot of times when you do commercial, they're gonna be like, okay, well, what sort of experience or what sort of property management do you have, right? So that I think that plays into a big factor as far as approving the loan for you and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's true. At commercial, you need some kind of experience before you even get approved for a loan. So in your case, I would even do like 4 units, something smaller, which is not too bad too.
It's your I guess your comfort, right? So for me, commercials, I've been through the single family and stuff like that. To me, maybe my comfort is with commercial. So a lot of these guys are, it's pretty much your comfort level at this point. To me, it just seems easier now with commercial for me.
Okay.
because I had a quick question in the question box. I was gonna see if you guys, because you guys keep saying it's easier. I know. I hear that Civic kind of touched on it a little bit, that you do need some experience. I'm assuming like maybe 1 or 2 years of a fourplex or something like that before you can go into the 6, and it would be easier. Could you guys specify easier in what way? Is it easier like the loan will close faster, the criteria are lower to qualify, like credit scores will be lower? Easier how?
Hey, Jimmy, let me let's hold that out till the end.
All right.
I know she's got a bunch of questions. And let's get through her questions first, and then I'll answer that. But that's an easy question, Jimmy.
All right.
Oh, that's fine. I'm kind of out of questions over here too.
Okay, then I'll answer that, Jimmy. Yeah. So so when you do that loan, they do kind of see if you have some sort of experience. If you don't, you can kind of offload that. Say that your partner does, or you have a management company that could help you out or something like that, or you have family that's helping you. You can kind of offload that. So I was faced with that, and I got through that. It's just you're right, that does come up. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, and also, I mean, are you guys also talking about do they look at credit? Is the criteria lower? Because would you have to be to be at the top tier of credit to get a commercial loan, or do they? And I'm assuming they do check your current credit. Would you qualify for a bigger? I guess would you just qualify based on lower credit criteria? I guess based on the deal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going by off what I've gone through. When I was talking with them, credit wasn't really the big factor. They do want to just see what it looks like. Say, okay, are you a honest person that you pay your bills, right? But ultimately, it's the deal is good enough that it's going to pay for itself, and you have money, to cover it. So when I was talking to my loan guy, that's what he said. Cool.
Yep. Cool.
Do we have any loan guys on the call? Or hey guys, when I say guys, are HmongREI guys? What do you guys think? I guess nothing.
Sorry, Chai. What was your question again? There's a lot of background noise.
So Jimmy just asking, hey Jimmy's talking about does your credit score kind of affect, your getting a commercial loan, right, Jimmy?
Yes.
I can't answer that. I've never done a commercial, so I'll just have to find out too.
Chai, you're the expert right now, Chai. Don't ask anybody except you.
That's okay. Like I said, don't hold us legally into all these questions, but I'm only telling you what I've gone through, and this was something that did come up, right? Because I wanted to see if credit was a major factor, but when I was talking to my loan guy, he said it wasn't a factor, but he's going to pull it anyway just to see it, So I'm like, okay, cool. At least I know from here on. And it's kind of like the same way when I listened to other podcasts, and they say the same thing too. So Shynna, any other questions?
I would just say, one of my last questions are, who are some of the top entrepreneurs that you guys kind of follow? Because I know I kind of follow Grant Cardone, Cody Sperber, John Cochran.
I follow Chai Song.
Yep, Chai Song, that man.
Yeah, whatever, guys.
And Civic Young too. I follow Yin too.
No, guys, go ahead and name off your mentors. I'm curious.
Kind of follow you want to follow local guys, local investors. you know, because you know those big guru guys, they're just throwing out stuff to sell and stuff, you know, so it's a little bit tougher to believe them. You know, so you could like, you know, follow like, you know, Sam Kwok there, you know, he's pretty good guys in Chicago area there. So I follow him a lot. He throws some pretty good stuff out there too.
Oh, who is that again?
Sam Kwok.
Sam Kwok.
Yes, he's based out in Chicago. So, but he's local enough, and he does deals out there too. Some of these big ones, you know, they're just too big to follow, you know, because you know they're on a different level.
Yeah.
I'll go, I guess, unless someone else. So I listen to Grant Cardone not because of real estate, but because of his ideas, his philosophies, and I'd apply that. And so I listen to him. I listen to, you know, Bigger Pockets podcast. Aside from that, not so much. Just because, you know, I want to focus on real estate, right? Other things will just kind of get you to do other things. The folks that I follow a lot on social media is Chai and Civic, and you know, I'm fortunate enough to have a broker, Stephen Tao. He's actually one of my mentors and business partner. That's the guy that I team up with, and you know, I learn everything from him. So I consult with him, and you know, I ask him a whole bunch of questions. I meet up with him about, you know, once a month or so to catch up, you know, on ideas and stuff like that. So yes, Civic is 100% correct. You have to go with someone who is local, who can, like, if you need to meet up with him, if you can, him or her, and say, hey, how do you do this? What can I do with this? What do you think about this? Right? That makes a world of difference.
Okay.
Yuli, did you go already?
Yeah, I mean, Grant Cardone, yeah, same thing. Like, yeah, just to kind of piggyback off of what he said, I really do listen to him mainly for his philosophy and his motivation to certainly help me out in my entrepreneurship. But yeah, kind of following guys like Chai and Civic, you know, and yeah, just, you know, hit it right on point because, you know, I partner up with Civic a lot, and we do a lot of, you know, things here. And, you know, obviously, you know, Shynna, that we work for Creative Results down here as well. And having him as basically my mentor and being able to ask him questions as I am going through this process as well has helped me a lot. And, you know, that's one of the main things, just having someone local who can make a direct impact to you. You know what I mean? So that's a very important thing to certainly have, and that's one of the things that I enjoy working with Civic for sure.
Yeah, I'm actually taking that class too, so just trying to prepare myself for 2018.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, and by that time, you know, we're certainly trying to hopefully grow that team here in Milwaukee. So.
Anyone else want to share?
So I just named my stuff quickly here. You know, I started out with Jim Rome. I use him for personal development, and then I use you know, Robert Kiyosaki. He's the main guy that got me into real estate, and then, you know, Grant Cardone, and then the daily stuff that, you know, I don't know if you guys do this, but I'm constantly listening to like podcasts. So like if you guys my list right here I'm looking at right now is this O Capital podcast, and these are the guys that does the commercial loans. So I'm constantly listening to see what they talk about. I mean, they talk about like how they buy deals, large apartment deals, and how they finance it. Bigger Pockets, I'm also listening to those guys and on the podcast, and then on Wednesday they do the webinars. So you know, they do the questions QA stuff, and that's usually good stuff. Real estate guys, I mean, listening to those guys, you know, because they have all kinds of stuff about real estate on different, just even like on land or like on crop or oil and stuff like that. They talk about, so you kind of like a bigger market. And then I listen to Rich Dad radio show, so that talks about like the micro, macro of the economy. So that it kind of fills up your whole, you know, so you can kind of get a big picture of everything. So that's my list. A couple people message. I think Johnny mentioned he listens to Gary Keller, and I don't know. Anybody else on the chat that can mention that stuff that they listen to or follow? And then we'll kind of open it up, right? Is that Shynna, is that your last question?
Yeah, that was my last question.
Okay. Brandon Turner too said Brandon Turner. Yeah, Brandon Turner is the guy from Bigger Pockets. He's usually good. I mean, I've been following him. I mean, he's, you know, he does his deals and, you know, uses the calculator and shows us what he looks at, and that's, you know, yeah, I follow that guy all the time too. Let me see here. Anybody on the call, you guys can go ahead and just ask questions at this point. We're kind of free at this point.
Yeah, I got a quick question. For all you guys have been doing this like longer than a year. So for you guys who still, I know some of you guys still have, I know Chai still got a job, a job too, right? So if you got a job, how are you guys doing your taxes? Because your regular tax preparer will not be able to. Their brain will explode when you show them all the LLC stuff and all the real estate stuff. So are you supposed to have two people do it, or you have one? You find a new person to do your job and your real estate stuff combined together. For all you guys who've been doing this longer than a year.
Go ahead, guys. Don't be shy.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, now.
Yeah. So this is Johnny. What I do with my taxes is like I do my own research, and I'm pretty good with numbers. So I lay everything out. I get all my books ready. I put it all together, and then when I give it to my CPA, so I have a personal CPA that knows what I'm doing, and she may not know everything about what I'm doing, but I'll just tell her. Because she knows all the tax laws and everything, I'll just tell her, hey, this is how I want everything to be structured, and then I give her all the paperwork, and she'll structure everything out. And if it looks awkward or something, she'll contact me, or if something's not working out, she'll contact me. Once she's done, she sends me the tax returns. I'll review the tax returns, and then I'll make sure that's structured the way that I wanted it to be like, and then I'll send it back to her and say, okay, this is the one that we're going to go with. And so she'll do a couple of different scenarios for me to make sure that it's the way that I want it to be done. Now, if you're not tax savvy, then you kind of have to just trust someone.
I do. I have a question. Can I, hello?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you tell us who you are?
Okay. Hi, my name is Janu. I have a question. I'm pretty new with the real estate investment, but I have some property. They're vacant land, a pretty good, almost like 150 acres. Is there any way that I could refinance? I'm almost done paying with the mortgage with the land. Is there any way that I could refinance that, take out some equity from the land, and start probably doing something with it into the real estate investment business?
The thing is, land have, is that land producing income for you?
Right now, a few of them are being rented for farming. So how do I go about, and I'd like to sell them, how do I go about by refinancing them?
land is pretty hard to refinance, because there's no real market value in there, but there's no equity value in land itself. To find, you probably have to look at agricultural banks, see if they're willing to do that. But most standard banks, I don't think they will touch just raw lands.
Okay, thank you so much.
Can I add on to that? This is Johnny again. For land, because I underwrite some land loans and stuff like that, like major banks, what they look at is they look at a loan to value of about 50%. So there's possibilities of doing refinances on the land, but you're not going to be able to take as much equity as if you were trying to refinance on a home or something like that.
Thanks, Johnny.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate tonight's session. I'm a newbie in the real estate investment market, so this webinar or this teleconference is very informative for me. Thank you for everyone.
You're welcome. Don't know where you're from.
I'm currently in Massachusetts.
Okay. Welcome.
Anybody got any questions? Any other questions?
If I do have a few questions for everyone in here. The first one is, what will you guys do with this information? I mean, the thing is that if you can learn all the strategies, you can learn on how to find deals, you can learn how to do everything, but if you don't implement it, or if you don't do anything about it, nothing's going to happen. So my question to you guys is, are you actually going to take action tomorrow? Or are you just going to repeat your day for the past however long? Are you just going to go about your routine, or are you going to change? Are you going to do something different tomorrow, where you're actually going to start working on finding these deals, right? That's question number one. Question number two is, how many of you actually have a marketing budget? Okay. Put together a budget of some sort and start marketing. That's how you're going to get the deals. That's how you're going to get people calling you. That's how you're going to, be able to like start looking at different properties on a daily basis. Okay. So those two things, if you do them, and if you do them every day, if you implement what you learn every day, and if you have a marketing budget, if you market every single day, I can guarantee you that by next time this year, you're not going to worry about money anymore. I can guarantee you that. Okay. The reason I say that is because it happened to me, and I did that because of that. Yeah, I implemented. I have a marketing budget, and now I don't. I still need more money, but it's not an issue, and that could happen to you too if you do it today.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, the group. I mean, thanks you guys for joining the group. The group is actually kind of like a support group, right? So, we kind of wanted to. I mean. I know in a while we've been getting people to post checks and stuff like that, and that's just to motivate you guys in the group to say, hey, you can make a whole lot of money in real estate, right? So we do that just to get you guys motivated. And the last post I put up there says, how many deals have you done in a year? We started that back in the beginning of the year to see, I forgot what I posted, but I said, are you ready for this year and stuff like that, and then that was just a check to see if anybody's done what they told themselves, that they're going to do, because real estate is a lonely career, right? So to have all of us in here, like I think it's like 1,800 people in this group now. And, we do this so we can motivate each other, so we can push each other. And if it wasn't people there, I guess I wouldn't have this much property. Civic's there. He's there. He's kind of my motivator. He's always talking about deals. So I choose him as kind of like my team partner guy. He's always talking about deals. So that kind of motivates me to keep looking at deals. You got to find somebody in that group to keep pushing you. So that's all I got. Do the guys here or anybody else on this call have anything? And thanks, Shynna, for doing this. Go ahead, you.
Thank you,
just
guys.
wanted to let you know, if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to us here in Milwaukee.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for having me on this webinar with you guys. Very informative for me.
Awesome. And is there any way where they can get a hold of you? Through Facebook, or do you want to throw out an email, or do you have a website or something?
No, I don't have a website. Not yet. But yeah, I can send you my email, my Facebook. Yeah, do you have my number too?
Just call it out. Just say it on the call.
So my email is YANGKKS94@gmail.com.
All right, guys. So I guess that's about it, guys. It was supposed to be an hour call. We're over 15 minutes. It was great to hear you guys. We'll be doing a lot more of this down the road. We had like 5 people lined up. Yeah, you hear somebody say "Dao." Anyways, you guys have a good night. We have like 5 people lined up, and hopefully we'll be doing more of this. Okay, so thanks, guys. Thanks, Shynna.
Okay, thank you, guys.
You guys have a good night.
Yeah,
you gonna take a picture?
Bye.
A screenshot?
Thank you, everyone.
It's all recorded.
Recorded.
It's all recorded.
Sweet.
Oh, you guys lied. You guys said Civic told me it's not gonna be recorded. Tricked me.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, guys.
All right, thanks, everybody.
All right. Bye.